overseeing the positions that maybe they are going to have once maybe they are passed, once they are approved by Parliament. But of course, most of these people, most of these nominees are people who have held this particular or different positions in the public in the public space. What do you think their track record is supposed to actually to give us maybe a sign of maybe what is it that maybe they can do even if they're going to get these particular positions?
What I can say is that most of these nominees have been in the public service, some over 10 years, some 20 years. Yeah. So I know and I'm sure that they have been interacting with the government, they have been interacting with the public service, and so they are competent, according to me. I think they are competent. And sure enough, because also His Excellency the President, when nominating them, I'm sure there is something he was looking at. And so I'm 100% that they are going to be competent and they are going to work for this country.
And just maybe before Kagi you come in, I'm also being reminded that you can also catch us live on our YouTube page, that is MBCI TV Official. That is also another social media platform that you can catch us live during this particular conversation. You can be free to give us your opinion as far as this particular conversation is concerned. Maybe Kagi wanted to throw a point?
Yes, I think I have been following the process.
Yeah.
And it's good to mention that it's a good process whereby if you bring people on board to be able to manage our public offices, it's good to be able to know them. Again, how is the process being done? Okay. Because the quality of the process also matters. Yeah. And I have been asking myself some questions. I don't know, but I want to ask, or maybe I'm questioning about the way the process is being done. And by the look of things, the way I have been observing this process, yes, it's a parliament, it must do it in a procedural manner.
Right.
But also, I feel that though the speaker is the chairman of the panel, I feel the way the panel was modulated, it was properly orchestrated to be able to fit in the process. And I feel personally, the speaker of the National
When you're
Assembly.
talking about the panel, are you looking at the numbers? Are you saying maybe the numbers maybe of the members of parliament on side of the government are more than the ones?
I'm talking about the side of the government. Okay. I think the way that panel was constituted was to be able to make the process much easier. Okay. And I could listen to the way the speaker, the chairman of the panel, the way he has formulated the questions. I feel they are a bit planned. Okay. They are not as much as I was expecting, you know. Again, I feel he is over-domineering the process. You know, as the chair, you know, anytime that you're chairing a committee, your work is to be able to moderate the committee. But I feel the chairman of this panel is over-domineering. And by the look of things, you can easily tell that Moses Wetangula is in to assist. And of course, it's his job to assist the process to be easier. You see?
Yes.
I think also number two, I was expecting more vibrant team to be able to vet these guys. Okay. I feel they have not reached the threshold, right? And I was comparing this times around the vetting for the CS this season as compared to the other season. Okay. That season was a bit vibrant as compared to this time around. Yeah.
Okay, and maybe, Bonagisha, you want to give us your perspective on what some of the issues that Kagi is talking about. Yeah. Do you feel that there is some form of bias, maybe because maybe the speaker is now considered maybe to be in favor of the government or maybe the Kenya Kwanza side? And also maybe even the way the panel is actually doing the questions. The questions that are coming maybe from the side of Kenya Kwanza vis-a-vis the questions that are coming from members of parliament who are from Azimio.
Yeah, what I can say about that, I also saw something like that come out the day before yesterday, on Monday actually, when the CS nominee, Alice Wahome for water and sanitation, said she had forgotten she had misplaced her certificate, her law, her bachelor's degree of law. And then the speaker said,
Yes.
I know you are in university. I was with you.
Yeah,
now
you
see,
are one
it
class
becomes,
behind me.
Yeah.
So he was helping
Yeah.
her to answer some questions.
You see, it is not supposed to come out like that. Even if you know she was with you in the university.
Yeah.
I don't think it is supposed to come out like that, because you will be seen as if you are a teacher and then you are assisting your student to do
the exam.
So it did come out clearly. I also saw that. And then the other thing, what I also found out, because I was following the process, is that the nominees, actually they were, the questions that were asked to the nominees, I think the panel, I had such kind of a thing, I'm not so sure, maybe you'll correct me.
Okay.
I had as if they had asked the questions from the whatever. They had gotten the questions from the public. I don't know if you had such kind of a thing. Yeah, there are some people who called and asked the questions. Okay. They directed the questions to the panelists. So the questions that were being asked to the nominees actually came from the public.
From the public.
Yeah. So I think somehow I can see as if there is some matter of transparency there. Yeah.
Okay, that's a good point actually to look at, and I think the reason why also, Kagi, maybe you are looking at that particular point, because in a situation like this, even though maybe we have the side of the majority and also we have the side of the minority in the National Assembly, but when it comes to this, what is the place of actually this particular committee not really considering whichever side maybe they are? We should not necessarily have maybe the side of the minority, in this particular case maybe Azimio, just trying maybe to put questions, or just maybe trying to vet, or even maybe to maybe come and ask questions just for the sake of it, or maybe just to try in as much as possible to taint the names of the nominees. And we also should not have maybe the side of the government not trying really to push hard to find some very critical information from these nominees, just maybe for the sake of the fact that they want them to be approved. Don't you think we really need to see a panel that is very fair, that is very free from bias as far as this particular exercise is concerned?
Yeah, I think we need to be looking into that in the near future.
Yeah.
The way we create our panels to be able to vet these people.
Okay.
Not only the CS nominee, we are going to have other public offices whereby we need to vet them and to understand them better. I don't know whether we can have them away from Parliament, or maybe we can mix Parliament from other important institutions in our society. I think it's important to have a panel that is not biased. Because by the look of things, the way things are being done today is quite different. In fact, I was very suspicious of Mangicho and our guests, because the way those guys are answering questions, I feel that they had the script. Because if I share the questions with our guest today, he'll come prepared, more eloquent in answering questions. Because if I ask a question of how much you're worth, as much as you know how much you're worth, the way you are answering, the sequence of answering that question from every nominee, it can easily tell
they're not talking the truth.
There's no truth. Number two, they were well prepared and crammed what they own. Right? Because as much as you own something, you can try a bit to forget or something to mama or something, but they are doing it in a more elaborate manner. All of them, you see? So I think the formulation, the format, we need to go back there. Again, before I leave there, I was really waiting to see the opposition, how they are going to really vet these guys. With the side of the government, we know they might be lenient. But for the opposition, I was expecting them to be able to do a thorough vetting. And I feel they were overpowered by the other people in terms of the organization of questions and how they have planned the vetting.
Okay, very interesting perspective there. And of course, the other thing that came out, and Bwana Irungu Gishoi, I don't know how you want to look at it, because so far most of these nominees, in one way or another, have been implicated, or maybe not implicated, but maybe alleged maybe to have been in one way or another involved in some scandals. Of course, they were given an opportunity, and most of them have been able to come out and say, or come out to deny any involvement. Some of them have actually, okay, we know some of them, even their cases maybe are in court. Of course, others have been dropped. But what does it tell maybe when we have, during the vetting, every nominee that is coming, there is an issue as far as maybe scandals is concerned? What does it portend for an exercise like this? And even maybe for the people who are being vetted for the positions?
My take on this is that in Kenya, if you want to be famous, somehow you have to have one or two scandals. I don't know why, and I think that is our culture. And I beg to be corrected.
Are you saying that is what
no.
Kenyans love?
I beg to be corrected because if you look at even our governors, our members of parliament, our women reps, many of our leaders, many of them usually have one or two scandals, and I don't know why. And this Kenya is...
And how comes they have these scandals, and when we go to elections, they get elected? What is the problem?
That's one of the greatest problems we have at this time.
And how do we fix it?
And but my problem is not even the elected members of parliament or governors or the others. Yes. My problem, I have a problem with the electorate. Because why do you want to elect a leader who you know has been involved in one or two corruption cases? Even if maybe they have not been convicted, they have not been jailed. You see, as per our Kenyan law, the Kenyan law says that you are innocent until proven guilty.
Proven guilty, yeah.
So even if you have been arraigned in court and the case has not been concluded, you are still innocent. So I'm thinking, even for those of us, for those of them that are the nominees that have cases in court, and they have not been convicted, they have not been jailed, so we give them the benefit of doubt that they are still innocent.
Because in other democracies, I don't know what you say about this. In other democracies, the issue, or actually how people would want to look at it, is that if there is anything that has been mentioned about you, even though maybe it has not even been taken to court, it has not yet been proved, you're still innocent, but just the mention of it should actually make one to actually be magnanimous enough and be able to say, okay, let me first of all step down, let me first of all relinquish this particular position until the entire process of making me clean is completed, then I can actually come. But in this particular case, people are saying, no, let's go for these particular positions, let the court do their work, and then we meet in the...
Yeah, I think it's in the African continent where we are doing things differently.
Yes.
If we admire the West, the way they do their politics, especially in Europe, we know that if you are suspected to have participated in any misconduct of any sort, you don't stand in a position to vie any public office. Yes. You have to stand, you have to step aside to allow the investigations to go on.
Yeah.
We have seen many people in the Western world, a president himself is being suspected of doing something that is not so good. And in fact, they don't need to be given any pressure by anybody to resign. They come and call a press conference and say, because of what has happened, I want to resign. Yes. Even when there is mismanagement in your ministry, it is something that has gone way high in your ministry, you come out and take responsibility and resign. Sure. And I think that is where we are not getting it correct as Africans and as Kenyans, that we don't want to take responsibility. Again, I think we had such kind of a discussion when I was here. The problem is our constitution. And our politicians are very much aware. They have to guard that clause in our constitution, whereby one is proven
Is innocent.
Is innocent until proven guilty. They know even where it is. All of them, they know where it is. So that if you are caught doing something wrong,
Yes.
you are not chased from the public office. And I don't know who is going to come on board to help us, because if we are waiting for our leaders, especially politicians, lawmakers, to be able to change this, it will never happen. And it is too unfortunate, Mangicho, that we are being led by leaders whose integrity is wanting. Finally, you have mentioned about the issue of graft in some of our nominees. But again, if you see the sequence of activities in judiciary is questionable.
Okay.
All right? How comes that all the nominees who have some questionable characters, they have cases in court, all those cases are being dropped quickly and systematically? Everybody is questioning in the online, everybody in the street, they are questioning what is not happening here. And more is coming.
Okay.
Right?
What's your take, Bwana Irungu, as far as that particular matter is concerned, whereby we are having these nominees? Actually, some of the people have actually been wondering, how comes? Is it a coincidence? How is the issue of the timing that when these nominees are being vetted, some of the cases that maybe are pending in court are actually being dropped by the Director of Public Prosecutions?
My take on this is that just last week, there was one of the DCI members said that he was coerced to implicate a judge. I don't know if you saw that in the newspapers. So when we see such kind of a thing coming out from a senior DCI officer, that he was coerced to sign something that was implicating another judge for something he had not done, then it leaves a lot to be desired, because we see as if some of these corruption cases that were leveled against some of these nominees, as if they were political. Yeah, because we used to see in the previous regime that if you are politically aligned and you have a corruption case, the case was usually dropped. Okay. For example, there was that issue of the KEMSA scandal. Nobody to date has ever been prosecuted because those people are politically correct. Yes. So when you are not politically correct, maybe you are holding in courts. And it was very funny also sometimes.
But what you're saying is very true. But I think maybe the most unfortunate thing is now when we have independent institutions, the institutions that maybe have been put there to ensure that justice is served, when they are also compromised, and maybe they also just favor a particular side, just maybe for political capital. I think that is where we are actually losing it.
Plus, also, you are calling them independent, but also sometimes they become not independent. They become dependent.
They become dependent. Anyway, just before we move to the next subject, what has also been actually interesting so many Kenyans, or maybe some people would say that it's of public interest, is the net worth. Or the wealth. What is the importance of these cabinet nominees, Bwana Irungu, actually declaring their net worth?
Well, when the public appointments, the public appointees are usually requested to declare their wealth. It's actually in the Constitution. So that after like 2 or 3 or 5 years, then we come and compare what you said is your worth plus what is your worth right now. And then maybe we shall see that your wealth has jumped 10 times, tenfold or 5 times. Then we ask you, when we were appointing you to be a cabinet minister, your wealth was 200 million. Now it's 5 years down the line, your wealth is 2 billion. Where did you get all this money? And your salary maybe is $1 million. So maybe that will be where we shall be.
But I think the process of maybe declaring the wealth, which is done by all public officers, it's okay once you declare your wealth at the beginning of your appointment. But again, I think mostly that is the end of that matter. There should be a process. Either
ongoing process.
Yes. If tomorrow I am a CS and there's no harm in that, maybe after 1 year I add 1 Prado. I should go to my employer and declare that I want to declare today that I have added 1 Prado. What's this amount? And it is mine. It is recorded. If you buy a land, then after 2 years, go and declare to your employer, the Public Service Commission, that I have acquired a 50 acres in a certain place,
which is
what is amount, and here it is. So that at the end of 5 years, if you're going to be a CS for 5 years, the Public Service Commission can really confirm your acquired wealth legally.
Yes.
But you see, most of us...
And is there any cause for worry, Kagi and Bwana Gisho, is there any cause for worry, is there any cause for concern regarding to the declarations that we've had so far? And this is what maybe Kenyans expected. That, for example, someone like Musalia Mudavadi is worth 4 billion. Someone like Aden Duale is worth 800 million. Is it what Kenyans, or is this something that should inspire? Is it something that should excite us?
I think that is a cause to worry. As I can state this for myself. I didn't expect those guys to have so much wealth. It got me as a shock. I didn't expect, because if you try to measure or just to compare a cabinet, a member of parliament salary, it goes to roughly like 700,000 around there. Plus now she has expenses here and there. So even if maybe he has been working for like 100 years, it's very hard to acquire 800 million. Okay. Yeah, so that one was on the higher side. Although sometimes you see, they usually say they have other businesses, importing cars, they have camels, they have land, they have rental houses. Yes. So, but that net worth, according to the jobs they have been doing, is a little bit on the higher side.
And personally, I was very shocked. Anyway, I was very shocked. Yeah. I have never thought or believed, or even closer to thinking, that the Musalia Mudavadi could be worth 4 billion. Okay. And I don't know whether this was the correct figure or maybe they are underestimating. Number two, as you could have followed yesterday,
and
Kenyans were saying...
We're going for a break in the next like 30 seconds.
Yes. The poorest CS is Aisha Jumwa.
Yes.
So
far, because...
100
yes.
million.
100 million.
Yes.
The process of vetting the cabinet nominees and the issue that has actually been making headlines, their net worth. You're still joining us on the Mid-Morning Park right here on MBCI TV. We are still coming more with, we are coming back with plenty more. We want to look at the issue of the drought situation in the country. You can catch us live on our Facebook page and...
MBCI Television, transforming lives.
Ukitaka kueleza mtu human trafficking, utamweleza aelewe namna gani?
Mtu afanya haki yake, kwa maana anapata pesa yake kwa nini? Kwa mshahara. Sana kula pesa yake kwa mshahara. Hawa waliomba Mungu apate hiyo kazi na Mungu akampatia. Asikule hongo. Walai mamangu.
I am disappointed in you.
Kwa hivyo human traffickers tabia zao gani waache?
Corruption. Naweza washauri waache kuchukua hongo.
Hebu tuimbie wimbo wa taifa wa Kenya.
Hiyo ni ya watoto.
Sule, unaenda dukani, ukifika pale dukani umeenda kununua unga. Ule unga unauzwa shilingi 100, lakini wewe ule unga utanunua shilingi 75. Yule mwenye duka atakuwa amepata hasara shilingi ngapi?
Shilingi 5.
What?
5.
Kuna wenye dhambi watakatifu. Juani kiwakani na wake wote, wengine tanga wengine kieleweke.
Oga, that way you talk. Repeat them again.
Juani kiwakani na wake wote, wengine tanga wengine kieleweke.
Okay, no, I'm sorry.
Reverend Miriam Githenji, presiding minister of Christian Foundation Fellowship in Juja.
So uko na kazi ya kufanya, kusukumana na Mungu paka utoe healing in the spiritual, bring it physical.
Invites you to a powerful, one of its kind 4-day conference dubbed New Levels in Christ. The meetings begin from the Tuesday on the 25th October 2022 from 12 noon till 6 p.m. daily at the mega tent next to Jayquart University and opposite KCB Bank. The meetings will climax with our new land dedication by Archbishop Dr. Harrison Ng'ang'a on the 29th of October at the same venue.
Maombi ya kibinafsi kama haupati wakati wa kutosha. Maamuzi mengi ya maisha utakayoamua, utaamua kiakili kama binadamu.
The meetings will begin on the 25th and 26th. The meetings will be in our sanctuary behind Cooperative Bank. But on Thursday 27th to Saturday 29th, the meetings will be at the mega tent next to JKUAT University opposite KCB Bank. These meetings will transform your life. Come, partake grace for your next level. Don't miss.
Leo nataka tuandae omena. Inaitwa omena. Omena yes, kuna unakuta kuna watu wengine maybe omena inawasumbua na shindo naanza aje nafaa nifanye aje.
Watu wengi ukisikia mtu kuna mtu anasema mimi sipendi hiyo harufu ya omena.
Na hiyo harufu ya omena inamalizwa na hii process yenye tumetumia na ambayo ni ya kuoa maji.
Mlo wetu is a true definition of cooking is an art, and here we introduce creativity in meal preparation.
MBCI Television, transforming lives.
Of course, you are welcome back to the program, the Mid-Morning Pack, right here on MBCI TV. So much for the cabinet vetting, or the cabinet nominee vetting that is still going on. And today, actually, we are having 5 more that are being vetted. We have one Zakaria Njeru from Nakuru County being vetted for the position of the cabinet nominee for lands. We also have Kipchumba Murkomen being vetted for the position of the CS, Roads, Transport and Public Works. We also have Susan Nakumicha Wafula in the health sector, and we also have one Penina Malonza, tourism, and also we have Soipan Tuya for environment. Of course, we'll be following up and we'll be looking at how they are going to perform as far as that particular exercise is concerned. But we want now to change some gears here and look at another issue that has actually been making headlines, and also a very weighty issue, and that is the drought situation in the country, and be able to see what is it that can be done, because this is also something that we've been having, Kagi. It is not the first time that we are having matters to do with the drought situations, food insecurity, but again, what is it that now needs to be done actually to have a lasting solution? Remember, you are still catching us live on our Facebook page, that is MBCI TV, and also on YouTube, that is MBCI TV Official. Our SMS platform is 23814. 0721 105 105. That is on our WhatsApp platform, and we'll be glad to continue sampling your take and also your opinions as far as our discussion is concerned. And Bwana Irungu, when you look at this particular drought situation in the country, over 4 million Kenyans facing starvation, where do you think the rain started beating us as a country, as far as this particular issue of drought is concerned?
Yeah, what I can say about the issue of drought in this country, I think there is lack of political goodwill in this country, because since I was a small child, I've been seeing there are people who are dying of hunger every year, and there is that issue of msaada all the time. So I don't know why the government has not come up with a political goodwill of mitigating the hunger in this country, because like we had that issue of project of Galana Kularu, which was 1 million acres, and corruption got into that project, and we lost everything. And what I was thinking about the Galana Kuladu project is that they have 1 million acres of land that was under irrigation. They were planning to plant maize before the project was mismanaged and mishandled. And then corruption got in. There are some people who took away some money. I was thinking that if the government could manage the Galana Kuladu project well, 1 million acres of land, even if we say that like one acre of land can give, on the lower side, 12 bags of maize. So 1 million acres will give 12 million bags. If we now come again in Uasin Gishu and the food basket now in Rift Valley, we will get several million bags of maize. And then I'm sure there will be no drought in this country. I mean, there will be nobody who will be dying of hunger. So because we shall be having in our stores, in our National Cereals and Produce Board, enough maize. Yeah, and beans to cater for this country.
But it is quite unfortunate, Kagi, that whenever we have the drought situation in our country, it's more or less like it catches us by surprise. It's like we are not foreseen such kind of a situation. How is it that we have a government, we have even now county governments that have already been put into place? Why is it that some of these things really get us by surprise?
As he has said, lack of political goodwill. Because those people who can be able to help our country to come out of this mess of drought and famine, things like this, are the politicians. Because they have the resources, they have everything. Right? Yes. We have gone into an extent whereby we create ministries to be able to curb this problem. For example, we have had Ministry of Water and Irrigation. We have had the Ministry of Arid and Semi-Arid Areas, all in a way to be able to sort out this problem. But again, as much as we have these ministries, we never had that political goodwill. See now, I was looking at the cartoon in the Standard for today's newspaper.
Yes.
Is well elaborating. And this problem has been there since independence, Kenyatta days. He talked about drought and famine. I think how many years? Is it 15?
Yeah.
Moi came, 24 years, talked about drought, famine, and national disaster. Came Kibaki, the same song. I remember one time we had to do some like fundraising to help
Kenyans
people.
for Kenya. It
Yes.
was called Kenyans for Kenya.
You remember?
Yeah, I remember.
Kibaki 10 years, went.
Yeah.
Came Uhuru, the same issue. Now Ruto is here. It's a perennial problem since independence, but no one has really taken a key interest on this issue. I think we can be able to handle this matter. Number one, because issue of drought and famine are intertwined.
Yes.
We have been educated as Kenyans. We have also contributed that we have destroyed our ecosystem. There's an issue of planting trees, and we never serious on it. Yesterday, I was going through the social media. There was one one statement that the president said that every Kenyan must plant trees.
Yeah. They said, I think, they said 10 trees?
100 trees.
100 trees, yeah.
During birthdays.
Okay.
But you see the response by Kenyans were 99% negative about that issue.
Kenyans don't want to plant trees.
They don't want to plant trees.
Why? Is it expensive?
No.
Or is it that
they are playing politics with everything.
Yeah.
You see? Number two, Uhuru had come up with a formula by bringing on board big dams. And I was watching at the Diba Dam in Kirinyaga County.
Yes.
And I was very amazed. And I was thinking, I wish as Kenyans or as a government, we could come up with such a mega project to be able to fight drought, famine, food insecurity. Yeah. And I was looking at Kirinyaga County. They were saying that this time around, they are going to have 2 seasons of rice planting. It has never happened.
Okay.
So that's a solution, which is a good example. Okay. So I wish we could be able to be serious, tree planting, dams, things like that.
And actually the points that you are raising are very important because Bwana Gishohi also, you are looking at it in terms of Of course, this is something that is affecting us as a country, and especially parts of the north in the country are the ones that are actually bearing the brunt of this particular pandemic. And when you have a situation like this, of course, huge number of those in the north, depending maybe, for example, on something like pastoralism for their basic needs. And right now, as we are talking, some of the animals, most of them have actually perished as far as this particular issue is concerned. Is it time that maybe we should be able to think that things need to be changed, that they should be helped, not maybe to put a lot of concentration, or not just to fully depend on cattle or maybe on animals, and maybe get into or venture into some other aspects that may be of significance to them?
I think the Kenya Kwanza government is committed to ensuring that the livestock from the northeastern, because they have a lot of animals, they are going to be bought by the Kenya Meat Commission. I saw that in their manifesto. Another thing I saw is that the Kenya Kwanza government want to also introduce irrigation in the northeastern places so that they stop relying wholly on livestock only. They can also do irrigation, they can plant maize, they can plant beans, they can plant other things like potatoes and other things. Like if you go to Turkana nowadays, they are planting watermelon, they are planting cabbages, they are planting all things since they got water for irrigation.
Is it a matter of policy that needs to be put into place? I mean, because these are some of the ideas that maybe have actually been put there in the past, but then it's a matter of saying and very less doing. Now, this time round, if we were actually to see change that is real, what's need to be done?
Before he answers, talked about the pastoralists. Okay. Number one, even the previous government had that idea of buying cattle from those guys when there's a drought. The same government is promising that. But also, I'm questioning the issue of the culture. I feel sometimes that as much as the government want to buy livestock from them,
they refuse.
They refuse to sell them.
The people are so much attached.
Yes.
Yeah, they are attached.
How can I sell my cow to the government? How? They still have hope that these cows are going to survive.
Wow.
You know?
Okay.
You see?
So culture is a deep-rooted thing, and it will take a very long time maybe to be able to deal with it.
Yeah, maybe to add on what you have said, some of these pastoralists, either they are semi-literate or they are illiterate.
Okay.
There is no way you tell somebody who has 100 camels that sell your camels, now that there is drought, buy maize. So you find that sometimes the camel is dying there and the owner is dying here.
Yeah.
So what can we call that?
but then it's also it is also very discouraging because we have county governments from the places the pastoralists are coming from, and we have very huge budgets every year. How comes very little is seen to be done as far as mitigating this particular problem is concerned?
Like I said, there is lack of political goodwill. For example, I saw the governor of Isiolo County last week. He was saying like 300,000 animals have died. You know, 300,000 animals is a lot of money. That's more than he was saying. He was putting it at least 10 billion. How do you lose 10 billion while watching?
Sometimes
unless there's something wrong somewhere.
I wish we didn't kill the barter trade.
Yeah. Because how do you just...
cow, I give you maize.
Yeah, maybe.
Right?
Maybe.
Yeah, again, the issue of the irrigation in those areas, Mangicho, I usually ask myself, as much as we want to allow these people to irrigate, to have food, imagine someone who was born and he has never even
MBCI Television, transforming lives.
Saseni, na niko homesick. Mimi. Nani atakuonyesha mam? Mimi. Haya, sasa tutaanza na nani? Tuanze na wewe. 07. And because of that, the right show inatuletea a small visiting hapa. So be with us, I, Laurenel, David King, and Professor Mikey together. And which school is this?
St. Philip Gilgil Girls Senior School.
We'll be having the right show from 6 till 7:30 in the PM on the 22nd October 2022. Only on
MBCI TV.
See you there.
MBCI Television, transforming lives.
Welcome back. We are still on the program, The Mid-Morning Pack, right here on MBCI TV, and we are looking at our second topic of discussion, that is the drought situation in the country, and just trying to see what is it that needs to be done. What are some of the measures that need to be put into place to ensure that at least once and for all we deal with this particular matter. And Bwana Gishoy was talking about the aspect of climate change.
Yeah.
This is global.
It's global, yeah.
In Kenya, how do we find ourselves bringing solution, even as much as global or climate change is a global issue?
The issue of climate change is a global issue. And I think that we need to have a robust discussion around this subject, because you find that there's like this issue of GMO. Okay. Because now, if we want to mitigate the risk of global warming, okay, whatever, we have to maybe start educating our people. Like my friend Kagi said that the president said every Kenyan to plant 100 trees, and then people are mocking him. Now when you see now, when you plant trees, you don't really plant trees because of the president. Yeah. That's it. You are planting trees because of the days to come of tomorrow. And you see, we usually say that nature is really very unforgiving. When you cut trees, like for example in Mau, it means that for the next few years there will be no water. There will be no rainfall, there will be no water. Our rivers, like Njoro River, will dry, Akinanjoro River and others will dry. So when you refused as a country, we refuse to address that issue of the climate change, we shall actually be doing a disservice to ourselves. And nature will come to haunt us later, when this country will be very dry. There is no rainfall, sometimes 2, 3, 4 years. And then when it doesn't rain, who has a problem? Of course it's the Kenyans, because now you'll be planting your crops and they'll be failing.
And the good thing, Mangicho, is that you cannot necessarily plant trees which are not beneficial to you, other than attracting maybe climate. You can plant tree in your land or your shamba, which can have a dual advantage. Okay. Yeah. It's a tree, it's a fruit. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So you can choose which tree to plant in your shamba, which can give you economic advantage, okay, and also some ecosystem advantage.
Wow, that's very interesting. Now let us move to our final subject of discussion: Reading for the Hustlers Fund. Reading for the Hustlers Fund, our dear viewer, and I think it was on Sunday when the president was in Kericho, yeah, and he made a statement. He announced that the Hustlers Fund, 50 billion Kenya shillings, is due in December.
December 1. He'll be launching.
Yeah, he'll be launching it. Yes, Bwana Gishoy. As a country, how ready are we for this particular fund?
I think the hustlers are already waiting eagerly for that.
And when you're talking about the hustlers, what figure do you have in mind? Are they 5 million? Are they 10 million? Are they 20 million? I'm thinking we're also among them, right here, inclusive of our crew.
Yeah. Everybody is a hustler. You know, in Kenya, if I can give you a brief statistics, yes, in Kenya we have the people who are called high net worth individuals. Yes. They are 5%. 5% of Kenyans are high net worth individuals. 25% are middle income. I'm sure we in this room, I'm sure we are, although I don't know about Kagi. But I'm sure, I'm thinking, the 25% of Kenyans are in the middle income. Middle income means you earn 40,000 and above.
Okay.
High net worth individuals earn 200,000 and above.
Okay.
From I said 5%, 25%, 70% are hustlers.
Okay.
70%.
These are people who don't take home, they take home less than 40,000, from 1 shilling to 39,000. Those are the people who are called hustlers, or they are called low-income earners, if I call them in that maybe decent name, low-income earners.
You said 70%?
So 70%.
70%.
Kenyans, yeah. So you see, it's a lot of people.
So if you are 50 million, we are talking about 40 million of
70% of 50 million is around 35 million.
Yes.
But now when we exclude those one in schools, maybe in schools like 10 million.
Yes.
So you find that around 25 million people are hustlers.
Okay.
And they are waiting for that money, of which I also see as if it might not be enough. Yeah, because if you divide 50 billion with 25 million,
yeah,
you get very little money.
You get very little money because Kagi, we've been having a very, very great problem as far as unemployment is concerned. Lack of job opportunities, graduates coming out of our universities, coming out of our colleges every year, and there is nothing they are doing. We also have maybe those who are also completing maybe their schools and maybe the education, and maybe they're also not being attached. It's also maybe very challenging even for this particular group to start maybe to start maybe businesses so that at least they can earn something. Are you looking at it as a game changer?
Yes. One, it was a promise by the president during campaign, so he's trying to fulfill what he promised Kenyans.
Yeah.
I think
it's a new phenomenon.
Yes, it was a good gesture, which was also it was also introduced, I think, by Kibaki through the Youth Fund
and Women Fund.
Women Fund. There were two.
But
I remember that time.
When you are talking about it, it was also introduced. Are you saying they are one and the same thing?
They look one and the same thing, and I feel either they are going to scrap the Youth Fund. They call it the Hustlers Fund. I feel it's the same.
But how is it therefore that we really don't have very good and positive stories as far as maybe the Youth Fund and the Wezo Fund is concerned?
I want to talk as a victim, because that time I was a young man. Now I'm getting old. So I went to look for the Youth Fund personally, and we had a group, blah, 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 and I didn't have the process.
Yes.
And I withdrew halfway, because I felt if halfway, it is this tedious.
What are those roadblocks that you encountered?
Before I get to the end of this, so I felt it's not possible to get this money. And many of us at that time, we were trying to come up with groups, some businesses to get this money. It was not possible. And I was listening to the president when he was in Kericho, where he said that this money is not for free. There's nowhere government can give money for free, which is correct.
Yeah.
But again, after Ruto, now he was sworn in as a president, I did some informal research on this fund from the SMEs. And I learned one thing I didn't know. And I think this is what made the president to declare in public, this money is not going to be free. It was very shocking, because the few people I talked to, they told me that if there is something that we are really waiting from Mr. President, is the Hustlers Fund.
Yes.
In their mind, they believe they're supposed to go somewhere, whether it is in a bank or CD or the constituency office or wherever, and to be given some money to support their business.
Okay.
That was the
money they will not return, or
yes, that is what was in the ground.
So if I'm getting you well, so far we are having the wrong approach, we are having the wrong mentality.
Yes,
as far as this particular.
Yes, I don't know how he is going to mend it, because already on the ground people are expecting some money to support their businesses, mostly businesses.
Okay.
And I talked to some people who are owning some kiosk, like those ones, and I was in one matatu. And I heard some women discussing the issue of Hustlers Fund. It was again very shocking. And they were saying, we thank God now we are going to have money in our pocket. You see?
Yes.
And that's where the problem is. Now again, now the president has come and said that you are going to form groups. Yeah. You are going to get this money with some interest. I don't know how much.
It will be meager. It will not be exorbitant. It will not be like Shylocks. It might maybe will be zero. They have not said it.
Yes.
But I'm thinking it will be between 0.2% and 0.5. Yeah.
So, when I say, okay, maybe just before Kagi, or maybe you can finish your point. I wanted also when I to tell us what is the experience with the youth fund and the ways of fund.
Yeah. To finish, we didn't learn from the youth fund. What failed youth fund? Money is still lying in the banks up to today. Young people fear taking loans. Again, the issue of suspicion. Maybe we are 5 of us. We have come up with a business idea. We have registered the group. We want to go and get money, and we know one of us is a key suspect in the issue of.
He's not faithful in terms of financial. He's not faithful.
Yes, and of course you know the repercussion. If one of you is not faithful in terms of collecting money from the government, you know the repercussion of bank. That is where the issue is. So I don't know how he is. I'm really waiting on 1st of December to see how the president or the government has really planned to share this money in details. I think this is what we expect from him on 1st. The details of how this money is going to be shared. I'm really waiting to hear.
So, Bwanirungu, it's like we didn't do well as far as the youth fund and the ways of fund is concerned. So, what lessons, therefore, are we learning so that maybe we can put things right as far as the Hustlers Fund is concerned? What was the experience with the previous funds?
It is like we did not learn because during Kibaki's time, that money was still given. It was given in form of women fund and youth fund. However, the problem the government encountered at that time is that they did not train the groups of people.
Right.
When the Jubilee government came, they were also giving the women fund and the youth fund. Themselves, they were training. Before you could access the funds, you are told to be in a group of between 20 and 50. Then the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development had some notes about bookkeeping and about managing money and maybe managing a business. They would come to your group, and they had contracted companies that train. So if you want to access Ways of Fund or Women Fund, you are told to go and access some education, just basic education, like 2, 3, 4 hours. Then you are taught about bookkeeping. You are taught about how to run a business. You are taught how to do gross profit, net profit analysis, and then maybe keep records.
Were the conditions that tough? Because
no, they were not tough.
As Kagi says, very few groups benefited. Why is it that maybe most Kenyans feel that they were locked out of actually benefiting from these particular funds?
No, they were not tough. The conditions were not tough. It's only that, there are some businessmen who are risk averse, who don't like taking risks. And in this life, you must take risks, isn't it?
It's actually a risk not to take a risk.
It's actually a risk not to take a risk.
Do you also think that the issue of the business idea is a challenge? Because if you have to start a business that is going to pay back the loan, you have to start a business which is going to give you revenue.
Yeah, of course.
Do you feel that what they call the small scale business people, we have good businesses that can be able to support our income? I feel also it is a challenge.
Oh, the business.
Because when you're given this money, what kind of business is going to set up?
Exactly.
You see? I think those who might benefit more are those who have already set up their business. Another challenge is, it is not for individual. If I own a kiosk, this money is not for me. It's for a group of people who are operating a business.
Not really. So. Maybe I can correct you on that. They usually say you have your own business.
Yes.
And Mangicho has his own business. Our friend here has, and mine we have. Each and every person has his own business. You come together. You register a group. Once you register a group with the social services here, I think to register is like 1,000 or around there. Then now you come with a certificate and you tell now the youth fund, we have this certificate, we have registered this group to one group. So you apply a loan. Maybe you apply 20,000, me I apply 20,000, another 10, like that. You apply 100,000. Each and every person will be given his check. You are given a check of 20,000, another one 20,000.
As a group? No,
it's your own check.
Okay.
However, you are all intertwined together. Okay. You are like twins now. Or even if you are 20, you are like 20 twins. Twins, it means two. You are like now 20 children together of one mother. Okay. If one person fails to pay their loan, the other 19 have to contribute. If maybe you are paying 1,000 every month, you are paying 1,000 each for his own loan. Okay. One person fails to pay, then the other 19 are supposed to contribute to pay for him. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Because if you don't do that, the financials will come for maybe they can. You see, there is collateral. You have written, I have a television, I have sofa set, I have a cow. If you don't pay that loan, they will come for your cow or television. Or that's what they usually do. Yeah.
So therefore, what are some of the main highlights that should actually be given to the hustlers, quote in quotes, most of them, of course, being the youth who are going to benefit from this particular fund? What is it that really needs to be given to them as far as capacity building is concerned in terms of use of this particular fund?
I think what I can say about that is that they are supposed to be taught, and taught thoroughly, not just taught 2 hours. Because if you ask me, 2 hours is not enough to teach somebody who is supposed to, who will be expected to run a business.
And you're looking at a group maybe benefiting with like how much?
To start with, I'm sure they will be given 20,000. There is no company that will give you more than 20,000. They will give you like as an individual. So if you are a group of 20 people, you are given 400,000. If you are a group of 50 people, you are given 1 million per group.
And I feel the biggest beneficiary will be the women.
Yeah, of course.
Women are a bit organized. They have.
Women don't drink beer. Women don't smoke.
They have many groups, eh?
Yeah,
they are a bit organized.
Yeah, they are a bit organized. But I'm sure also you cannot be given like 2-3 times. No. At you are in this group and another, you are given 3 loans. No. They will be very strict on that. But what I also know is that once you are given 20,000 and you pay well, maybe 20,000 will be requested to pay within either 6 months, between 6 months and 1 year. If you pay, if you pay earlier in 6 months, you can then go back and the loan will be graduated. You will not be given 20,000. Now you'll be given 50,000 or 40,000. Okay. That's what they usually do. Either they will give you from 20, they give you 50, or they can maybe give you 40. Then once you pay the 50,000, you are graduated now to 100. They go graduating because also they don't want you to be in class 1 forever.
I think this one is going to challenge the financial institutions.
Of course it will. Although
because
now
if people are going to shift towards there, they will be forced to be able to adjust their terms.
Okay.
I feel so.
Which also is a positive trajectory, if you ask me. You know, people have been taking loans from Shylock. Like you take 20,000 from Shylock, you pay 100,000. Yeah, you pay like, they say you are paying 20% per annum, I mean per month. 20% per month in 12 months is so on 20%. So if you collected like 20,000, 100% is what? You pay like 40,000 or 60,000.
Yeah, but also Bwanageshoi and also Kagi, looking at also the aspect, the subject of infrastructure. How ready are we as a country? Because it's one thing to tell these people that we are giving you money to start businesses, to venture into entrepreneurship. But then, what entrepreneurship are they going to do? What are some of these businesses venture that these young people are actually going to take part in? What is it that we've already done? What kind of environment or are we looking forward to be put into place so that we don't have business being started and all of a sudden
they're collapsing?
They're collapsing. And these people still have to pay the loans.
Yeah. What I think, and I'm sure this government will be very thorough, is like I said earlier, is that they will need a lot of training. Plus there will be that issue of business plan. Before you are given a loan, you'll be required to say, this is my business, I want to start chicken farming. I want to start by 50 chicken. I'll buy the 50 chicken, each chicken at this amount of shilling. Do I have whatever, the house for the chicken? I also need several amount of money to buy whatever vaccines for the chicken. Will I need an employee, or am I the one who will be taking care of the chicken? You will need a business plan before they give you. They will be very thorough. They will just don't wake up and be given a loan. No, it will not be easy.
And in terms of even the government now also helping, so that when these businesses are started, at least these people are not saying that we are suffering loss. Okay, how is it that the government can also ensure? I mean, how can it partner with the hustlers after they have started this particular?
Again, before you talk about it, I'm thinking about what he is saying regarding the business plan, and I want to be very realistic. That most of these people who come to teach us on the ground regarding to our businesses, they don't even own any business. Even a small business that can give them a 200 shillings, they don't have. If you take them to the ground to run a business, they won't make it.
You're talking about those who are expertise.
Yes,
in terms of
most of them.
In terms of passing knowledge of
they're the ones who are coming
establishing business ventures.
They are coming to us to train us on how to run business, to open a business.
Yes.
It's okay. Their knowledge is needed. I have no problem with that.
It's theory. That is theory.
Theory is needed. But you need to incorporate their knowledge with people on the ground.
Practical.
Those people who have ventured in, don't even think about big corporates. Think about small businesses. There are some people who have really ventured in businesses on the ground. It can be a cattle farmer. It can be a kiosk who is graduating to a mini supermarket. Those are the people who should be incorporated in this kind of training to be able to give these people the real hands-on regarding to the running of the business. But if you leave them to the experts, theory won't go anywhere. They're going to start business theoretically. When it comes to practical aspect, they totally fail. And I think that is where, Mangicho, you are still insisting that we are starting businesses, but still they are all collapsing. You know, the approach is very poor.
Because like you are training somebody to drive a vehicle. On the paper, come here.
Yes.
Go the reverse. But you are not taking this person and give him the car and tell him now switch on the.
That is it.
Engage gear like this. When you train him for a few hours and then tell him now switch on alone.
Yeah. On the other side, you can have a trainer, a driving trainer. He will never know whether that person knows how to drive or not. Maybe he doesn't know how to drive. Although even though he may know how to drive, he cannot take a vehicle from this point to this, but he cannot go in town. But he's a good trainer.
On the table.
On the table. So that is the aspect we are trying to bring on board.
And that's why we were also saying the training will be needed so that even they can be hands-on. For example, now there are a lot of people with like cows, chicken. These groups of people need to be taken and shown. This is a farmer. Like there is a farmer here at Lanet. I don't know if I can't remember her name. She's a woman. She left her teaching job. She was a secondary school teacher, teacher. She has like 10,000 chicken. Just here.
10,000.
10,000 chicken, and she has like I think 100 cows or such kind of a thing. Do you know the eggs that are usually collected in that? Lorries come, lorries. Another lorry, another. You know, 10,000 chickens is a lot.
So are we also looking at maybe a new ventures? Because I'm also trying to imagine there is the common businesses that most of these groups would really just maybe want to get into. Poultry keeping.
Cattle rearing.
Cattle rearing. But I'm trying to imagine if you have thousands of these, then who is going to sell to who?
Of course. I think also they need to be innovative and maybe come up with new ideas. Don't just open an M-Pesa shop because you have seen another one has opened. For example, sometimes I go to town. You find like 100 M-Pesa shops lining in one.
And that is where we have a problem as Kenyans entrepreneurs. That I open a business here. You monitor how the customers are flowing. So you start looking shop around that place. To open the same kind of business, using the same script that I'm using to run your business. We are trying to collapse our two business. Okay, sometimes it may not happen, but we are challenging each other in terms of business, right?
Yeah.
Again, think of someone who is having a cow. That cow cannot give you 1 liter of milk, and then you are buying food. Maybe you have someone to give Napier grass or something. So you never take time to do some mathematics. Whether this cow is economically viable.
Sure.
You see?
Is it giving you income?
Yes.
Or you are actually going back to your pocket to pay the farmhand?
Yeah. And someone is insisting, I must have this cow. Right? So we need also, as Mangicho are trying to put it, we need to think hard. How are we going to do a business?
Exactly.
That is
yeah, and that's why I was actually saying, Kagi, that it is important, even as the government is actually coming up with such a very good idea, but also to look beyond, to think beyond that. Okay, we are empowering these young people, we are empowering these hustlers, we want them to get into these particular ventures, but also they must be very keen. And once they get into the businesses, they should not just leave them at that particular
And if this fund is going to be done correctly, I feel it is one of the best methods to be able to eradicate the challenges of lack of employment.
Yeah. The bottom up.
Yes, because we don't have a formal, some vibrant formal employment in our country.
Yeah.
But if we start going back to the small businesses,
they are usually called the brew economy. They are called brew jobs.
Yeah.
Because the one in the office is white color.
Yeah.
Now these ones are called blue color jobs. Yeah.
It's a good way of eradicating issue of lack of employment.
Lack of employment.
Yes. Go back to the village. If Mangicho go back to the village and then you have some farming or something, or like you're saying, you are rearing poultry, you know, you can employ like 2 people or 3 people. Yeah. Then you contribute to the issue of eradicating lack of employment. So this fund, if it is going to be done in the right way, it is going to become the biggest share of creating employment in our country.
So,
and maybe to add on that, yes. I think it's a game changer, because like the president said, they want to start by 50 billion in the first year.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking they also increase another 50 billion next year.
Okay.
I think that's what they say.
True.
Yeah. So at the end of 5 years, they will have a revolving fund of 50 billion times 5 would be 250 billion. So by the end of the 10-year tenure, if maybe by God's will he comes back in 2027, I don't know. That's God's will now. We don't know. Yes. At the end of his tenure of 10 years, I'm seeing as if we shall have 500 billion revolving fund. You see, like he said, this money is not being given for free. You are given this money, and then you are repaying. So they are revolving. They are revolving. They are revolving.
But there are those who are saying initially in the campaigns is like they understood that it was going to be free.
Aye, but can government give free money?
It has never.
Maybe Msaada, whatever. They are giving in all this stuff, but not money.
At a very small interest.
Yeah, it will be manageable. What I know is that the interest will be manageable. It will be between 0.2% and 0.5%, because I'm sure it can't go past 1%. You know, if they go past 1%, it will be, people will say, I would rather go back to SACCO. You know, SACCOs give 1% interest on reducing balance.
Yeah.
Comes to around 10% around there per year. That's why you see SACCOs are usually very very good at people. And because actually, you cannot compare a SACCO with a bank. No. Me, I've taken several loans, like for almost 4 million in SACCOs, and the interest is very little. And plus, you are given like 4 years to pay, or 5 years.
So what you are encouraging the youth is that they should not fear taking loans.
They should not fear. They should not fear.
That is where the problem is.
Because many people fear taking loans. And let me tell you something. Unless you have a loan in Kenya, you might not do much. How can you, like, say I want to save 1 shilling, 2 shilling until you have 1 million? Before it comes to 1 million, maybe the plot of land you wanted to buy, you find that it now increased from 1 million to 1.2. So you find that after you have amassed the 1 million savings, then you go to inquire about the plot you are told now is 1.2 or 1.5. So, but when you have a loan, immediately you take a loan, you go purchase the plot, then you are paying. You are paying after 4 years, you have finished paying. Then maybe you take another loan, you say, now I want to build.
So as we come to the conclusion of our show for today, because I can see if our time is far much spent, what role do you think, therefore, then the Parliament needs to take or has to do as far as this particular fund is concerned?
I think even not really the Parliament that is going to take a role, because I'm thinking that that fund is going to be devolved. I'm not sure, but I'm thinking. Because now, you see, the government cannot come from Nairobi and come and start issuing loans in Nakuru County or Samburu County. The county government of Samburu or the county government of Nakuru or the county government of Siaya is the one that knows it's whatever.
So counties will be directly involved.
I'm thinking.
As far as
they have not said it,
yeah.
But I'm thinking so much that the counties will be involved, so that at least it can be manageable. You see now, they say that for the first year is 50 billion. So if 50 billion you divide by 47 counties, maybe each country will get like a billion, 1 point, like a billion. So Kehika is given, Susan Kehika here in Nakuru County is given like 1 billion. Another Olentutu of Narok is given 1 billion. Anyang Nyong'o Kisumu 1 billion. Manage this money. Plus, of course, they have been told that this money is not for free. So they will be expecting the money is given to the hustlers, and then they repay back. And they are given again. Then they repay back. Maybe at the end of the 5 years, the government would, not, at the end of 1 year, the government might come now through the Ministry of, because I understand it will be distributed through the Ministry of Cooperatives. Yeah, and one CS Cherugui, you know him. Now after like 1 year, now Cherugui will come in every county. We gave you 1 billion, then you are giving records. You give these loans this way. These ones were paid. These ones were paid. These ones were not paid. And then maybe they can make a decision and say, Nakuru County, they have distributed the money well, it has been paid. You can add them another billion next year.
Great.
Because we will see next year, they will be issuing another 50 billion. So we said they are going to be giving, every year they are going to be releasing 50 billion, according to the president. Yeah. Wow. So I'm thinking they will be checking and then saying, if Nakuru County has given the 1 billion well, it has been repaid, we can increase. Like you saw yesterday, Gachagua said that some of these counties are given money, and sometimes you find the money in the counties is lying.
Yeah.
In the
don't use the money to
you don't use the money, and then you are crying. Why are you crying? And even the little ones you are given, you have not utilized.
You have not used.
So it beats the economic sense. The counties that maybe will be utilizing their money well, they will be given even more.
They'll be given more.
Yeah.
Wow, Bwana Irungu Gishohi, Joseph Irungu Gishohi, an economic and a political analyst. I want to take this opportunity to appreciate you so much for making time to be with us on the mid-morning Pack Show and helping us unpack some of these weighty issues as far as our country is concerned. We look forward maybe to having more conversations with you in the future.
Yeah, I will be glad to come.
Yes.
Yeah, I always come.
And thank you so much also our dear viewer for making also time to be with us and also for participating. And these are very critical issues as far as our country is concerned, and it's always important to make sure that you also play your part in ensuring that we take this country ahead. I think it's been a nice show, Bwana Kagi. Thank you also so much.
Thank you to Mangicho. We want to thank you so much for participating in our program this morning. And I believe the issues that we have been discussing have given you a positive mind about them.
And you're also just forgetting, tomorrow is Mashujaa Day.
Really? Yeah.
And it will be the first Mashujaa Day.
The new president.
Everybody is really looking to it to see how it will be. Personally, I also want to see how his first assignment on a public holiday, how it will look like.
And you know, there's been this debate, who is the real Shujaa?
If you ask me, everybody is a Shujaa. In one or another.
In one or another.
Yeah, because whenever you wake up in the morning and you are building the society, you are building your country, then you are a Shujaa.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We bring it to a close at this particular point. Thank you so much also, dear viewer, for being with us. We want to wish you a very blessed afternoon. My name is Mangicho Mola. On behalf of the entire crew that has made this particular show a success for today, we'll do it again next week at a time like this. My name is Mangicho Mola. Enjoy the rest of your viewing.
My name is Paul Kaki. Thank you for being with us.